Welcome to the World of Warcraft Open Q&A panel.
Guys, hey, doing? I am J.L. Brack. I'm the production director for World of Warcraft. We're going to go ahead and just introduce ourselves, and then we're going to get right to your questions. The point of this panel is just to take as many of your questions as we can.
I'm Greg Street. I'm the lead systems designer at World of Warcraft.
I'm Corey Stockton. I'm the lead content designer on World of Warcraft.
Chris Robinson, art director.
Tom Chilton, game director, not Ghostcrawler.
We look alike.
Alex Prasiabi, lead world designer.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Chad, take it away.
All right, here we go.
Gentlemen. So currently in the game, you can use the Dungeon Finder to put together a 5-man team from across the battle group. In the past, you've said that you don't really use the Dungeon Finder to put together a raid because of the problems of putting together a raid over multiple nights. Now that you've stated that you have the intent of making raids something that you can complete within a single night, is there any possibility of revisiting that to make raid finding something that could happen across the battle group?
Well, there's still a lot of challenges with making that happen. It goes way beyond just having the content be something you can do in one night. For example, the way we tune our raids, it still demands, the players use certain compositions. You got to make sure you have your different buffs represented and debuffs and all that kind of stuff. And players tend to be very picky about their composition. So it actually gets pretty tricky to apply there. We even have some concerns with Dungeon Finder as it relates to heroic 5-person instances for Cataclysm, because some of the feedback that we've heard is that you guys want the heroic 5-mans to be more challenging than they were in Lich King. And so we're really trying to deliver that. But that can have the side effect of Dungeon Finder getting a little bit more dicey because, you may not always have the best players with you.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering if in the future there were any plans to give races across the board a little more customization than they have now, because essentially when you place all the good armor on them, they all look the same.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I think that's something that we really need to address. Currently there aren't any solid plans, but we're really thinking about ways not only to just improve on what we currently have, but to possibly change around the way that we address that so that there's a lot of customization and things are very clearly distinct from one.
Thank you.
Hey there, guys. I'm Calyx of Dragon Maw. I was just having a question if you have any plans of adding a guild merging system, like an easy way to merge 2 guilds together within any plans in the future of that?
About merging 2 guilds together, that's your question?
Correct.
We don't have any specific plans to make a feature to specifically do that, but as far as merging a guild, things like that should be easier to do in Cataclysm just because of the UI being so much easier to understand when you want to take one player out of one guild, add him into another, currently it's somewhat difficult to do that with the rank system and the way that works. But moving forward, we've got a UI that's a little bit cleaner for that. And also I think the fact that once you get the guilds together, once they start earning achievements and things like that with the new guild system, it's going to make you want to stay together a little longer. So hopefully that should get guilds, they can do that stuff now and get ready and to form that new guild for Cataclysm, because at that point they're going to want to stay together from there on out.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hi there, Xantia from Kirin Tor. I love what you guys done with Little Crest. I love the fact that you have a lot of very strong female characters. However, I was wondering if we could have some that don't look like they've stepped out of a Victoria's Secrets catalog.
What do you mean?
Wait.
Which catalog would you like them to step out of?
Could you see Sylvanas looking any other way? Right. So we feel you, and we want to vary our female characters, absolutely. So yeah, we'll pick different catalogs.
Hey, Alex, what catalog is that Tauren female coming out of?
Not one you'd read.
Yeah, sexy, sexy cow business.
Yeah.
Thank you. Some sort of agricultural.
Hi, my name is Piper from Calicos, and I was just wondering if you have any plans for female druid forms?
I might have seen a concept yesterday for something like that, but that's a difficult one. Like, to balance that, to make it work out, I think we want to do it, but at the same time, it's gonna be tricky. We'll do what we can. How's that?
Thank you.
So, wait a minute. I'd like to note that this BlizzCon, we usually get the question of when are we going to get new druid forms. I notice you're not asking that question. Come on.
That's a step
New
up.
druid forms!
You could make the Moonkin
All right.
more curvier with boobs. I'm just saying.
Just laugh. I knew.
Well, no.
Hi, I have a question about Fury Warriors. Do you have any plans to make Fury 100% viable in PvP? ARM's awesome in PvP, but I prefer Fury, and is there any way I can, in Cataclysm, be good at Fury and be very competitive in arenas?
I missed the beginning of that. You said Fury.
Now, Fury's not very good in arenas where it's all stacked with ARM's Warriors, and I prefer Fury.
Right. Well, you did. I mean, Fury did get a good deal of love in Cataclysm because we've changed the talent trees around a lot. I think they'll be a lot better. The short heroic leap and stuff like that gives them a couple of new tools they didn't have before. Also, keep in mind, we think there's going to be a big renaissance in PvP and Cataclysm because of the rated battlegrounds. And I think the community is going to shift some of their focus from arenas, which aren't going anywhere, and they'll still be around. But I think you're going to see a lot more rated battleground talk when we're here next year.
I'm allowed to say that we're having BlizzCon next year. We should get in trouble for that.
My question is for the, it's actually for 100 pet in general, and it's about the dog. Now, normally I like the dog a lot. I love its special ability, but it just doesn't look like the actual pet you would go up against Deathwing with. It looks a little bit too cuddly and too huggable. So, I don't know. I'm not like looking for a ferocious guard dog, but something a little bit more, well, looking for combat.
You're talking about the Mastiff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Mastiffs are pretty brutal dogs, but maybe we made it a little too soft. We could take a look at making it a little meaner, raising the hackles a little bit. Give it rabies. Wow, nice. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give it rabies.
Thanks.
Problem solved.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's easy.
Hey, this question is probably for Greg. With the talent trees overhauled and Cataclysm coming out, do you guys still plan to do more passes on the talents? Because you have stuff like improved Searing Pain that no one really specs into.
I mean, obviously we did a lot of work overhauling all of the talent trees. You know, we're still in like phase 1.0 of that overhaul, so we're gonna keep tweaking something over time. Once things go live, we'll see. I mean, there's a ton of theory crafting right now. We'll have a lot better information, say, in a few months of like what really worked out to be good or not to be good. Players sometimes think they've solved it all completely before they even step foot in the game, and then once they get in, they're like, you know what? This talent's a little different than we thought. So we'll still keep on the lookout for the talents that like nobody ever gets. With the new talent trees, we have a lot more room to kind of tweak things here and there to get things where we want.
Thank you.
Hey, about crowd control. In PvP, potentially some people can be crowd controlled for up to 20 seconds consecutively, and then say you switch to PvE, and then one target can be crowd controlled for 1 minute. Not really much planning or skill into that, whereas other mobs are just immune to every CC, and there's not really much you can play with those not used talents much.
Seems like more of a statement than a question.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What's your philosophy on the CC now and how it's going to possibly, what might change in the future in Cataclysm?
Well, in some ways, I mean, it's a little bit of a different answer depending on whether you're talking about PvE or PvP. In PvE, we actually want people to use CC more than they did in Lich King, at least for, you know, 5-man dungeons, stuff like that. And, you know, along those lines, we actually have a philosophy that we want stuff to be in PvE to be as CCable as possible. We want you to be able to use your entire, you know, set of abilities whenever we possibly can. Anytime we make something immune to CCs, it's always with a lot of consideration of like, do we really have to do this? Because we don't want to do that unless we absolutely have to, if it's not going to be game breaking or encounter breaking. As it relates to PvP, really the approach that we're taking right now is we're trying to slow down the pace of combat. And so anytime you have longer combat times and the encounters take longer between players, it means that the CC has less of an impact than it did before, because if you're talking about being CC'd for 20 seconds out of a, you know, 5-minute fight, for example, if it's a, you know, pretty big battle going on, versus 20 seconds out of a 30-second fight, there's a pretty big difference in terms of how it feels and how much you feel crowd controlled.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. I've played a mage since day one. World of Warcraft Vanilla came out, and mages are the best class by far. I mean, they're by far never needed a fix. My only problem is, like, for example, in an arena like Blade's Edge Arena, I'm on a bridge and I blink backwards. What the hell? I've died so many times doing that. I mean, and that happens. I am facing the right way, you know. But like, if you're in a specific spot and you blink, you just kind of teleport backwards on top of a rogue or on top of a warrior. So, you know, I'm kind of stuck there. And, well, have you guys ever thought of fixing that?
Well, anytime we come across bugs with the way the pathing works, because the way that Blink works is directly related to the way that the game picks a path and tries to find the location for you to blink to. Anytime we find bugs with that, we try to kill those bugs. Anytime we also find problems in the geometry of the location you're talking about, like in Blade's Edge, then we try to fix those geometry to not cause problems like that. Sometimes there's a little like hiccup where things don't line up quite correctly, and that's what causes the problem. So anytime we can find that stuff, we do want to fix it. If you can send in the exact location that you have trouble with, then we'll take a look at it.
But I think it is interesting that you started out talking about how awesome you were with your mage, and then led into how you die. So, pro, good man.
Thank you.